By the way, the only one that I would say is not objectively something to aim for is the second wife one. Because like having more money, generally good for everyone. Having more physical health, that's generally good for everyone. But having a second wife, that's not generally good for everyone. It's just we do it in different ways using different signals. So like Muhammad Hijab, he might use all these big words. That's his version of Lamborghini, you could say, right?
Right, maybe. I think it's something that comes out when people see quote unquote easy money and get jealous.
What's this knee-jerk reaction of, oh, Imran is talking about 100K. Also, now we're going to tell people that it's good to be broke and it's fine to be broke. The companions were of all types. There were the very rich and the very poor.
Those preachers that get on the mic, get the charity money, right? You see them in the Sunday services, get that charity money, come here, I heal you, I'll kill your eyes. They will start flipping, vibrating. Do you know what I mean? Like that's using the deen.
I'm like just recording right now.
Oh, okay. As long as you didn't get my joke in there. I don't want any of that.
I missed it, but I wish I didn't.
No, that's not. I don't want any of that in the podcast today. Absolutely nothing. None of that. I'm not even going to say what date we're recording this.
Okay, brothers and sisters.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to the Mind Heist podcast. This is probably going to be episode 176. Right.
Yes.
I mean, you've... let's start by...
overstepped the boundaries.
Yeah, let's start by talking about how you jumped on the hype train this past week and created a video for your YouTube channel that basically, how can I say this? Let's look at the video, shall we? Let's look at the video. Where is it? What's it called?
What do you want to look at?
No, we put it on our Mind Heist, didn't we? On our little Instagram, and we also shared a clip and stuff from your YouTube channel, Amin Omar, about your Badr Club pre-review. The Badr Club preview. The pre-review. Yeah. Not that you will ever get to review it. But no, you tried to take a balanced approach at assessing the controversy that had spiraled out of this. And I thought it was quite balanced, personally.
Yeah. That's the idea, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you got a mixed bag of comments, which I
I liked about it, yeah. I liked about it. So the first 8 minutes, you think I'm like a fanboy.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's like, okay, so should you buy it? No.
Oh, you suck.
Bro, I just threw them off. They're like, I can't pigeonhole this guy. I can't, like, what the hell? I like that, bro. That's like what Mufti does. It's
a shame there's no dislikes anymore, because you're sitting at 134 likes at the moment, but I'd love to see those dislikes.
Oh yeah, is there no? I've got it on my side, innit?
Oh,
I've got it on my side, so I can see that it's 91% likes. So I've got basically 131 likes and 13 dislikes. 13.
So for anyone who, let's rewind a bit. I think it's worth talking about. Why not? For anyone who doesn't know about this.
I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it.
I'll put you on the spot, baby. I want you to have a bit of a longer form discussion where I can ask you some things about it.
Yes, massage it out of me.
Yeah, that's it. And then maybe we can look at some comments that you got on the video and maybe long form discuss them. But what's that noise? It's been raining all day. Firstly, so yeah, it's a what's the best way to call it? A course or some sort of endeavor.
The Badr Club, Badr, yes.
By Brother Imran ibn Mansour and his team, who is formerly known as Dawah Man, but I think he's dropped that name. It's a very mature decision of his, I don't know. And in it, essentially, it's a self-development course, I think is the best way of putting it. Not necessarily a Islamic knowledge course or anything along those lines. I think it's definitely more geared towards, bettering your situation in the dunya, mentally, financially.
Look, there is
relationshiply.
there are 7 sessions actually that you get. Okay.
Yeah.
One is initiation. That's just like introduction, filler content. Okay.
Yeah.
The next is to do with, it says allegiance to Allah. So I guess your relationship with Allah. Then you've got financial. Then you've got second wife. Then you've got warrior, which is like physical health. And then you've got confidence. So, and then you've also got the final assault. I would say that's
Nice.
filler as well.
That could be.
No, that's like, okay, you've done this. Now
Defending
let's
against-
continue this for the rest of your life.
Things that are going to trap you or delay you, or
So those
damage
areas of life, yeah. And but also what comes with it, right, is you get those live sessions. They're 3 hours each, it says, and then you get the retreats. So you get access to joining the retreats at an extra cost later on. Yeah.
Right.
And then you also get access to the network, which I believe is like a Telegram group or something. So they're like,
You're on the website.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm on the website as well.
Okay, so that's the three things you get. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so. We spoke previously. I think that's why we'll bring it up. We spoke before this even came out. I think. I know.
Yeah, a couple weeks before. Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about like courses, and you know, we had a bit of a clip that went that was quite popular from the podcast. We spoke about it, and we had a discussion about it, and people's negative attitudes towards courses and learning anything from anyone. Now, I'd be remiss to say that those brothers don't get hate. They get hate, you know, for other things, whatever.
Absolutely.
Some justified, some not, and some open to discussion. That's not really part and parcel of this discussion here. But what is, I think, initially the bad taste in people's mouth was probably more so focused on the marketing. I think that was the main, and then there was an equally heavy element of the pricing, and then there was an element of you know, the balance of deen and dunya. How can you be a da'i and all this stuff, and then suddenly flip it onto dunya? Yeah. And then there was some allegations as well about the dawah money and all this stuff. To be honest, that whole allegation about the dawah money stuff, that's been taken care of, in my opinion, and I don't know if you agree, but they did a clarification video where they broke that down.
About that stuff, right? So someone came out and like looked into, because you know in the UK you can look into people's business, like a business, you know, the accounts you've submitted and stuff like that, right? For pretty much any company registered in the UK. So someone went and like investigated that, and then he's like, oh, you've only got £700 worth of assets in this company, you know, company X that he owns, right? Or he's part owner in. And he's like, oh, that means you're not making six figures. You know, I'm not someone,
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was other element or whatever, right? The thing is about this, there's not much to say about it, but the person who said that, I'm not into this stuff usually, yes. But this is a time and place where that person actually should come out. They should retract the videos they made, and they should apologize. I mean, they could apologize privately, but if they're going to apologize privately, they need to at least say publicly that I was wrong about that. I think that would be the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly, how do you say it?
Yeah,
I don't know, pathetic behavior.
We saw where that came from. However, I think so. It originated from an individual that we know, and it was in a Telegram group chat, and then a video was accompanying it. The screenshots from the Telegram group chat ended up on another account on Twitter, and it went viral on Twitter because that group chat is quite a closed group, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it actually went viral on Twitter through a third party, and obviously we know that, as far as I know at least, the person who did expose that, quote unquote, isn't even from the UK, so wouldn't necessarily be familiar with Companies House and how legit it is. You know, might see the Crown and might see the government website and whatever, and think, oh yeah, this must be 100% accurate. I mean, you can find
it is accurate on there. It is accurate.
Well, it's accurate up until it's accurate depending on what is submitted by the individual.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't necessarily reflect that that's all. But
anyone knows, Yanni, like not every company in the UK and elsewhere as well, they have to submit their numbers, their accounts every year, so that then based on those numbers they're going to pay tax based on whatever they submit, right? Now what people tend to do is they make sure they have no profit or a low amount of profit at the end of the year, and that would include assets, right? If you have £20,000 in your business, that's an asset. That's what he's talking about. So £20,000, if you leave that in your company at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay 20% on that. So what a lot of people would do is they'll say, well, I will take that amount of money as a dividend, I would pay that to myself. So I would pay the tax for the dividend, but I'm not going to pay the corporation tax. Or what you might do is you might say, okay, well, our accounting period is going to end soon. So let's buy all these things that we were going to buy anyway. Let's buy them all. So we end up with very little cash. All these kind of things people do is very normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
unless your business is really big and you don't know what to do with all that money that you've got, only in that case would you end up with a large amount of money and therefore you have to pay your tax on it. But all other smaller kind of businesses, they usually would, they'd be able to get the money out of the company so they don't have to pay so much on it. And that's fully legal and everything. But by the way, one thing I noticed in this whole thing, Mohammed, is people are quite naive. They don't know too much about businesses, I guess. And I guess that kind of makes sense because people don't run businesses a lot of the time. Like 90 whatever % of people will never have a business, I guess. But £100,000 a year, 6 figures, right? That would, I believe there's even a legal definition for this. That's considered a micro business, like it's a very small business. If you take, what's one like Pepe's, right? Pepe's is all over the UK and stuff. Yeah. Like a franchise chicken shop thing. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. They'd be doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds of revenue, maybe millions, right? Now the profit is maybe 10% of that, whatever, but they're bringing in hundreds of thousands. Like any just decent business with maybe 1, 2, 3 staff, they're making a few 100,000 a year, So this claim of 6 figures that people were attacking and saying it's a big money and stuff, it's not big money, Yani. Especially if you're talking about revenue for a company and all. If that is individual income after tax, okay, now that's quite a lot, that's £8,000 a month, £8,600 a month. So now that's significant income, but yeah, just revenue, it's like a micro business.
We'll get into that as well, actually, because there's some comments regarding that and some of the replies. But I think the main crux I think people had an issue with after that was kind of clarified was still the marketing element. So cool. Although I must be fair and honest, I think there was a broad range of stuff that was put out there, but the stuff that people noticed the most were, there's a Lamborghini here and I don't know. There was like some other stuff, but mostly it was like, okay, how Dunya can we get with this?
Some tiramisu, I believe.
I just had some, bro. My wife just made. I just had some.
I love tiramisu, bro.
Bro, my wife makes amazing tiramisu. Shout out to the missus. And my mum as well. Actually, my mum makes incredible tiramisu. I don't know. You just threw me off there because it's still going down. Alhamdulillah. No, so yeah.
Do you know what tiramisu means?
No.
I looked. I was curious. I was like, "What does this mean?" Because Italian, Spanish, French, they're all quite similar. So I thought, knowing French, I might be able to work out what it means, but I couldn't really get it. Turns out, it's like 3 words, Italian, right? So tir me is pull, right? Tir is pull. So like same in French, tir, pull. Me is me, like pull me. Su is up, pull me up. So it's like a pick me up kind of dessert. Right. Has a bit of alcohol in it, I guess, traditionally as well.
Probably. Definitely not on my one, though. But thanks.
It has coffee and alcohol, so there you go.
Yeah. We're getting distracted here. Where was I?
Yes, the marketing and the Lamborghinis.
Right, yeah. So because of that, they also, the critics drew correlation between the dreaded Mr. Tate and his marketing strategy for his stuff. But let's be real and honest and truthful to ourselves. Courses like this have existed way before he was even a thing,
Tate, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, who was that guy that said, hey, that's the dude, bro. I'm in my garage.
Yeah. That's legendary right now.
That's it. That's where it started. But you know what? It works,
that's
right?
Like a full-on meme, bro.
Yeah, bro, 100%. And you know what? I remember he was the first. He was the first where I came across that. And I was like, yo, I need to see what this guy's talking about. What was that? Drop shipping? Okay, let me have a look. Do you know what I mean? I started drop shipping because of stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So But
by the way, that guy, Ty Lopez, who the father of this, Lamborghini marketing, he's a legit business guy, bro. Like,
100%.
He's not a scammer. Like, even though people say he's a scammer, he gets the same treatment that Imran is getting and all people are getting. Yeah, he's not a scammer. Like, I think I bought his course, one of his courses. Yeah, he's fully legit. Like, yes, he has some things that I think I would disagree with ethically, but he's not a scammer. Like, he gives you full value and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think yes. I mean, what do you think about? I don't know if you got into it too much in your video, but what do you think about that marketing strategy? Yeah.
So what I said in the video is that I can understand why some people might find that a bit kind of distasteful. Yeah, distasteful. So from a few angles, one is like Muslims, and maybe just losers in general as well. they're sensitive to, showing off. Showing off, right? So yeah, showing off is definitely not a good thing. But also when it's like it makes people feel a certain way as well when it's like they would like that and they don't have it. Yeah. So that's the loser element, and the Muslim element is we don't like showing off generally. Okay. Even though we show off in different ways, people show off in different ways, right? And sometimes I notice this, I show off in certain ways on the podcast. I noticed it, and it's just we do it in different ways using different signals. So like Muhammad Hijab, he might use all these big words. That's his version of Lamborghini, you could say, right?
Right, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe not as far. Maybe it's not the same. It's not as directly showing off, but it's a way of just signaling that I have this status, or I know this, or I have this, isn't it? So. Yep. So people don't like showing off, and I agree with that element. We shouldn't show off. However, I think the way it was being used in these specific videos, and most people look very surface level. But if you do a proper analysis, and I didn't watch all the videos, but I watched maybe 2 or something of them, promotional videos. It was really not about the car. It was not about I can buy this car. It doesn't hurt my bank account to rent this car, to buy this car. There was nothing about it.
It's not like Ty Lopez saying, "This is my garage."
Yeah, I just bought a Lamborghini. Yeah. It's not about that. It's not. It's not like that at all. So on the surface level, I can see the whole showing off element. But if you actually look properly, I don't think it was showing off. However, there's another element which I think there's more, credibility to that criticism, which is like you're known for like dawah and focusing on the akhirah and stuff, and so like to mix it with that is a bit off-putting or something like that. That alone, I don't know, could you really criticize someone for that, or you just say I wouldn't do it? What do you think?
I think that goes back to a deep-rooted problem that is to do with just the Muslim. When I say Muslim, I'm talking about us, this arena. I'm not talking about the wider. I'm talking about this arena of Muslims. Yeah. Their distaste for money and deen in the same kind of frame, right?
Which is fair enough, right? Or
yeah, but before we used to have these kind of I don't know, exposés of speakers and da'is that charge quote unquote ridiculous amounts for talks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now you could argue, well, the talk is definitely and deep rooted in deen. So they're giving a Islamic talk, right? So you could see people's distaste there. However, it's not like there hasn't been courses before that are on a premium that are related to deen. In fact, my wife and I were looking at my wife's actually on the Visionaire course by the late Muhammad Sharif, rahimahullah. And so we were looking at that, and I think that was premium prior. I think I don't know.
No, I don't think so. It's a couple $100, I think.
But it's premium, and you have to pay for it.
Is that premium? Oh, that's what you mean.
Oh, as in premium as opposed to free. Sorry,
I thought you meant premium as in like, a bit of Gucci, a bit of iPhone.
What I'm saying is that no, I'm saying it's a deen course in the sense that it's a dua.
But the thing about that is, firstly, Visionaire is more personal development than deen. I would definitely put it in that category. But let's say there's this Madrasa Umariya course, right? Which is an online thing, and it's like multiple years and all that. Let's say that was £1,000 a year, for example. Actually, I know Cambridge Islamic College, they have something like that, which is £1,000 a year. Now, the thing with that is you can't really say it's extortionate, because they can just come back at you and say, look, this is just what it costs us to run this thing. Yeah. But when it comes to something like the Badr Club, that's where people are more able to come and say, okay, firstly, this is a for-profit thing. And secondly, I know very well that this cannot cost you much, because it's all virtual, and it's like the network is like a Telegram group, and it's not costing you much. So you can't justify that. So that's how people, when it comes to teaching the religion, Yani, they charge, and everyone kind of assumes that they're charging what they need to survive and to sustain themselves. Yeah.
You know what? Rewinding a bit more on the Mind Heist journey, look at when we had Isa on from Quranly.
Yeah.
And the £5 a month for Quranly, which I champion and I love and I still use every day, was freaking people out. People were getting stressed out and saying, why do I have to pay? This, giving bad reviews saying, oh, this is a great app, but it should be free. Right. And then I spent a lot of that day when this controversy was flying around looking at reactions and stuff. And I remember there was a particular Dawah page or whatever on Twitter that had obviously got involved in the criticism, but then when they saw the clarification, retracted. In their retraction, they were like, I've deleted my previous tweets. It's clear, blah, blah, blah. However, I still think it should be free. So they still had an issue with the price, right? Which is because then their justification was, I feel like more people would benefit. And I mentioned in the Telegram group with you guys, I said, good deeds don't pay bills at the end of the day. Yes, you can do all the good deeds you want, but you can also do good deeds in alignment with business. And I'm sure they have, elements of their good in there. Just because they're charging doesn't mean it's taking away from that, so to speak. But ultimately, I think, it's self-development, isn't it? And this one really does sit in that self-development course in that regard. Now, my opinion of it all was that this is targeted to their audience. I mean, I went on their Nasiha Sessions YouTube channel just now. They've got 284,000 subscribers, right? Those people we'd assume are subscribers because they resonate and benefit from that content, benefit from these brothers, benefit from the stuff that they're putting out there. So it's no different, really, to them starting a Patreon or us starting a Patreon or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like for their audience. And in that regard, it's not meant to be for the person who doesn't want it. It's meant to be for the person who wants it. But all this criticism is almost as if they're forcing it down people's throats, as if they're being forced to buy. And I think that's what drove me crazy. If you don't like it, then carry on with your day. But
I think it's like an extension of, I can't get my head around it, bro. Like, it's an extension of this whole thing of everyone just being sensitive and being offended by everything. It's like, I don't know. Why can't you just not like something, not agree with something, and just get on with your life? I'm quite... And the only explanation I can come to is that they just have nothing going on in their life. I don't know. What other reason would someone get so offended?
I think, looking at it from a psychological point of view, I think it's something that comes out when people see quote unquote easy money and get jealous that they're not making
it. That is an element of it.
So they will
and
see a course.
I've felt that actually before.
Yeah, so they'll see a course and think, that's really easy. That's such an easy thing to do. Oh, look, they're making money out of this really, really easy thing that they're doing. It must have no value because what? It's just a bunch of YouTube videos. It's just a Telegram group. It's just X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? And I've felt that in the past. It wasn't until obviously talking to you, talking to other brothers in business, starting a business myself, all this stuff, that I started opening my eyes to the reality of just trying to make a living, right? Especially having kids and stuff. But prior to that, when I was getting those Ty Lopez videos and I was getting this and that, and I did see these courses and I was like, I could have made this course. Do you know what I mean? Like I bought a Photoshop course recently. Was it Photoshop? No, it was Adobe Illustrator. And then I was thinking I was going to learn some really high level stuff on day one. Yeah. And it was like, no, draw this fox.
This is how you save.
Yeah. But like that was, admittedly, I'd never used the software before. So it was good for me. Yeah. And the price was cheap because it was on sale. But I can imagine someone being like, heck, I could have made this. In fact, now I feel like I could make a Photoshop course, like a very basic one. Yeah. But someone will buy it. But I know that there'll be someone in my audience or someone in my sphere that if I was to put out something like that, they'd just get offended. It's like, this is really easy. This is, he's making money out of this. And
if it's always, that easy, you make
like
it,
that.
Isn't it?
Well, it's like that with Pure XI. It's like that with any sort. I mean, you spoke about it yourself with Muslim CEO.
There are some people that I've thought, damn, like that's too easy. It's like, yeah. I definitely I felt a sense of jealousy. I'm trying to think of the example now. Maybe, I don't think I felt this too much with this specific thing, but crypto. It's like, someone put £1,000 into Bitcoin and now it's like 100K, or there are other people who put whatever 10K in and they're literally like sorted for life kind of thing. And it's like, that's too easy. But
keeping it is harder, bro. So that's what I would argue. So if I was to win, like
even having the foresight to put it in.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are going to be a lot of people that took some very calculated risks with something like Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, whatever.
Yeah.
There's going to be probably another large majority that just went, hey, throw it in blind, like let's just go. And there's going to be some that, obviously Bitcoin isn't this, but other cryptocurrencies like the rug pull, the malicious stuff, the stuff where they've calculated this ripping people off, getting everybody's money and then disappearing with it, right? But arguably, any money that you make that quickly, I think it's more difficult keeping it than it is like growing that wealth, because you then have to still be business savvy, because all that the person will know, if that person has never had money before, all they're going to know to do is spend it, not to make it.
Sure.
So they won't know where to invest it. They won't know where the business is. I've seen those stories of like lottery winners. They win the lottery and then like a few years later, they're back to ground zero again.
Absolutely.
They've got nothing because it's just been spent. So I think for those people, it's like, okay, now that I've got £500,000, what do I do with it? Because really £500,000 isn't like, I can buy a house and then
you're done.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, what do I do? So I'm going to have to make an investment here, because I could literally spend this in 2-3 years. That's it. So actually keeping it is even
actually,
more
I'll give you a real life story of that. There was a group of brothers, all Muslim brothers. They started Amazon FBA, which is basically selling your own products on Amazon. You actually don't even have to go to China. Some people went to China, but you could just order products from Chinese factories on Alibaba that the products already exist, and you just tell them, can you make it this color and can you put this logo on it? That's all you do. You don't like have to invent anything new or anything. And you would order a few hundred units, send it over to Amazon's warehouse, and then you sell it. And the whole main way that you would make money is obviously getting a good price from the supplier, but it's all about ranking. And the heyday of this was when no one knew, like not many people knew what makes something rank high or low on Amazon search. Yes. So like millions of people are buying on Amazon, especially Amazon US is nuts. Yeah. Like 300 million people in that country, like 50 or 60 million of them have Prime. These lot are just buying stuff. Yeah. But a lot of the people that were selling a lot of product on Amazon, they didn't even know about ranking. It was just by choice. By luck. So then, or chance, you should say. Or I should say. Then you have the people who figured out, okay, this factor, okay, this reviews, okay, the price is a big factor. This is a big factor. The photos are a big factor. And then there was this one group of people. They made a mega course, like exactly how to do this. So some of these brothers, they bought this course. And they start implementing it, right? And because it was early days, you could pick like any product. And if you just follow what the course says, you're going to rank high, which means you're going to be selling 50 units a day, 100 units a day. You start making 10, 20, 30, 50,000 a month, yeah? And this happened to many of them. Yani this group had, 100 people in it. And most of them, more than half, were making 20, 30, 40,000 a month, yeah? MashaAllah. But what happened was, Amazon started getting trickier, more competition. So the competition became a bit malicious, like a Chinese factory would sell their product directly in Amazon USA, for example. And they might even go to the competitors' listings and they might report it to Amazon for not having some certification, And before you would fly under the radar, but now they're trying to tell on you and stuff like that. So a lot of these guys are like, look, Amazon's not good. Like it's good, like for now, but we need to have our own thing. We need to have our own mailing list and be able to contact our own customers for repeat orders and this and that. So let's make our own website and sell directly, like Shopify and this and that. But they couldn't do it, bro, because they were playing business on easy mode, right? That whole Amazon early days of ranking, the ranking strategies, that's gone. When you start on your own website, like they're like, how do I get people to come to my site? They never had to think about that with Amazon, because Amazon brings people to your listing. So a lot of them actually could never get off the ground with that. So they were just stuck with Amazon because they were not, in truth, they're not good at business per se at that point. They were just good at following the course and therefore ranking because it's early days and it's easy.
Yeah.
So that's a real example.
To add on to that, there was obviously developments in algorithms, and then there was like fake reviews as well. There was AI that would make fake reviews that really damaged that.
Fake reviews was a big part of the strategy, yeah. Because I did 100%. It. It wasn't fake reviews, actually. We used to have these groups where people in that group would give me their address. I would send them products for free and they would review it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But there's always something, and I think it's being on the early days of it is always risky. I mean, it's, how many have we seen, whether it was dropshipping, whether it was Amazon FBA, whether it was just crypto in general, whether it was NFTs in general. Because even NFTs, there was a time where everyone was buying them and the value was up. And then obviously recently, it's just the interest has dropped off. Yeah. The technology might make a comeback in popularity, but the actual interest in that kind of art side of things, and people do just jump on a hype. But courses, going back to the courses, they've existed since it's a tale all its time in that sense.
Since blacksmiths were training apprentices.
I remember like early, I don't know how old I must have been, 13 years old, 14 years old, doing like an Adobe After Effects course, Video Copilot, trying to learn how to make like, those very typical 3D animated intros on YouTube and stuff.
Yes.
With all the fire effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I bought a course and loads of sound effects and all this sort of stuff, and I was following it, tutorials bit by bit.
Yeah,
I've forgotten all of those skills with After Effects, to be fair, but no, I benefited from it. I knew what I was getting myself into, I suppose. And I think, going back to the Badr Club, I think two criticisms. I think one was yours, but one of them was like how vague it is, how vague it seemed, all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, but is that a criticism, or is that like, I'm just not going to buy it then?
I think for the people looking outwards, I think it was vague, but I think there's probably more information for those that bothered to go on the website, right? And then the second one was one of your criticisms, which I do agree with actually, was that you've packed all these things into one. Do you know what I mean? So you've done six-figure, the wife thing, the what else? I don't know. All those points, for example.
Confidence, physical.
Yeah,
health, blah, blah, yeah.
If I wanted to learn graphic design, like when I bought a graphic design course, I didn't buy the course that had Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, UI design, this. I went straight to the one that had the biggest, chunkiest one that was just Photoshop.
Yes.
Because that's what I wanted to focus on first. And then I'd rather buy a whole course on Illustrator and then a whole course on... Do you know what I mean? Because I want that focus. I want that deep knowledge. Now, there was obviously the talk of like, oh, these guys are unqualified and blah, blah, blah. They brought receipts, bro. When it came to their six-figureness, they brought some receipts, right? They showed six-figure sort of numbers, revenue specifically, not profit. But some people that were commenting on your video were like, how can they say six figures, blah, blah, blah. But I replied to that, and we can look at that later. So there's evidence there. What I would say is that they do live, from what I know and what I see, an independent lifestyle. Like, clearly what they're doing is full-time. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're doing this in between their day job. Do you understand? I don't think they're working in Tesco or whatever, and then after work, come 5-6 o'clock, they're filming.
I mean, Imran does not have a job, and he hasn't had a job since we've known him, right? 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And we've known him for a long time. So that's why I think as well we've got. I mean, I was texting him yesterday and the day before. During this and just having a discussion and stuff. Like, we've known him for years. I've worked with him for years. So it's not like we're coming out of this from complete oblivion. Like, we do know his to some extent his personality, the way he works, the way he thinks. I've certainly seen the passion and sincerity behind what he does. I might not agree with everything he's done, but I know where it's coming from. Do you understand? Like, I see the way he thinks. So when it came to this, I was like, do you know what? He's an individual who's got this independence in the sense that he's not 9 to 5ing like I am, and there's probably something that he could teach me because he's escaped that rat race to some degree, and there's going to be an element of there he could teach me. Now, I didn't know about the 6-figure stuff, but when I saw the 6-figure evidence, it was like, well, that obviously boosted my quote unquote faith in this what he might be able to give me in terms of value. Absolutely. The second wife thing is debatable. Because I feel like the audience doesn't even have one wife, let alone. But I don't know if that's just like a catchy title and they're just talking about getting married in general. You tell me. I haven't actually had a look.
Well, if we read the description, it says, behind every great man is a great woman. Behind a greater man are great women. Right. In this operation, you will learn how to attract a high-value woman and then learn how to keep her whilst you acquire your second. So it's like,
right, so it's double. So this is it. It's two.
Marry the first and then the second, yeah.
So I think that's it, isn't it? It's like, not only are we got 6 or whatever points, was it 5, 6, 7? How many courses, lessons?
7.
Whatever, 7. So there's 7, but even in one of them, there's like marry once and marry twice.
yeah. So you can tell from that, like this, like kind of like what I said on my video. You can tell from that it's going to be surface level stuff. Not that it won't be like valuable at all, but it won't be your be all end all for that area of your life. That's what I would assume,
Yeah, and I think it's a start, to be honest. I think what it is a starting point because there's clear indication that this is a developing sort of platform. Whether that is the network itself, whether that is the in-person events they're going to do, and I'm sure they will keep building upon this. I'm sure they'll keep building upon this. But at the end of the day, all of the things we've been nitpicking at are just, this is how I would do it differently. This is how I would. But nothing I've said, and I'm sure for the same as you, is like, this whole thing is wrong and it should just go in the bin. Like, I don't think that. I don't know if you do, but I don't think the whole thing is wrong. I'm trying to think
if there's anything that I think is like morally wrong. The only thing, and I'm just bringing this up just to have a discussion about it. I'm not saying that I believe this is a problem. The only thing you could say is he built his audience over 10 years from spreading the religion and teaching the religion and all of that. And that was like fi sabilillah, right? He wasn't really getting paid from it other than he was getting like a bit of money from whatever they got from Knowledge College or whatever. Now he's using that audience that he's built and he's making money off that. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? So would that this is not even a moral problem. It's more like, would you be compromising your deeds by doing that?
No, I disagree. No.
You don't think so?
Because it's not like, it's not, once again, it goes back to forcing people to do something. Like, you've got an audience. How many times have I signposted to my graphic design work or Pure XI or whatever on something like Mind Heist, which one could argue, well, there's an Islamic element to it. You're two Muslim guys talking about Muslim topics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or even previously when I first started Pure XI, AchiTweet was a platform on Twitter that predominantly built itself through dawah-related, material, whether it was from early on when I was doing Muslim Youth Movement. I pretty much started on some level as a dawah personality, really and truthfully.
Yes.
And everything I was involved with was dawah stuff.
Yes.
And then I slowly backed away from that. But when I backed away from that,
you were on Roadside to Islam.
I was on that. I was Ali Dawah before there was Ali Dawah. And I remember Ali Dawah's first video was just after I left. Thankfully, alhamdulillah, I left, bro. But it's because of the pressure and all of that. And the thing is, you know, if any of other Dawah personality was to come up with a self-development course that was very dunya orientated, they would have the same thing. They would have the same backlash.
Yeah,
So
most of it, yeah.
I think the audience is the audience. I mean, if he was selling, you know, if he started clothing, let's go back to the clothing thing. If he made a completely dunya clothing line, right? Ain't no deen about it. It's just, you know, pretty colors and whatever. Oh, by the way, after this thing, let me leave a video in the back. Let me leave a little advert in the back. Buy my t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
People would have been like, okay, right, or something else.
Why is that? Is it because it's?
I also have a burger shop. Visit the burger shop in such and such. People wouldn't have got angry, really.
You think
Not that
so? Yeah.
angry.
Okay.
But because it's this,
So it's because it's a course. Interesting.
it's because mostly it's a course, and
because
you
they're
can
like
agree with that.
they're like 313 times 313. They're like, oh, now because he's actually going to make serious money off this, now I'm mad.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
almost part of it. Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, bro, he's got an audience that resonate with him. This isn't for the people that don't like him or don't like the group or don't like what they do. This is for his audience. If I had 280,000 people that were listening to Mind Heist, I'd be stupid not to also advertise other things that I've created that they might be into. Because at the end of the day, all of this stuff, as much as we think it's deen and the deen is what's the word? Objective in this. It's not. The deen is being delivered by somebody that you resonate with. Why is it that I can listen to some shuyukh but not other shuyukh, even though they're teaching me the same thing? There are some da'is that I listen to and some that I don't, not because what they're saying is wrong, but because I just don't resonate with them as much. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I listen to Mufti, for example, because the way he talks, the way he articulates himself, the way he delivers it, I resonate with him. But he's not teaching me anything that's completely different to another person on the Quran and Sunnah. But I don't listen to anyone else predominantly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So actually, when Mufti comes out and says, oh, visit the Hadith Disciple shop and get these jumpers or get this, I'm like, yo, yeah, I like that. Even though I probably wouldn't have liked it if Sheikh so-and-so sold it. Because that's natural. That's human nature.
Yeah.
Most of the time people listen to Mind Heist because of the same reason.
I guess it doesn't take away. The only let me put myself in the shoes, right? So
Go on.
I've had a YouTube channel for over 10 years, and those videos. Okay, no, I did monetize it once, but when I was when I was making videos, predominantly my aim was like, let me help people. Whatever I've learned, let me share it. Yeah. So the niyyah, the intention was fi sabilillah, help people fi sabilillah. And inshallah, my niyyah was pure, and therefore I'll get the full ajr for it. Okay. Now, what if I start thinking, okay, so if I keep this going, I'm going to build an audience, and then I'll be able to monetize it. Yeah. And that's part of my intention. So when I'm making a video, I'm like, half of it is like, I want to help people, fi sabilillah. Half of it is I want to grow my audience so that I can then make money off it. Okay.
All right.
So this is not sinful, I don't believe. I can't think of why it would be sinful. However, my niyyah now is split between those two different things. And therefore, can I expect the same reward? I don't think so, because it's not, the intention is not purely to please Allah. It's to please Allah and to, put money on the table, put food on the table. It's split.
But I think your intention is what needs work, because I mean you can.
But does it need work, or is it like it just is what it is? Like, it's fair enough to have that intention, but it might take away from my reward. That's all.
Well, there's layers. That's it. Yeah, to avoid the risk of it taking away a reward, there's layers. So one layer is you've separated what that actual side thing is. So instead of, for example, you directly monetizing your Dawah channel, that itself makes it murky. But you creating a second thing, which is purely business, and signposting people to that, say, listen, if you're interested in this is what I'm doing on the side, by the way, have a look. That's different, because your main source of good deeds is still free. There's no money coming out of it, and anyone that might be interested in this side thing can go to that, but they're not necessarily missing out on this. And the second thing is, when I say adjusting your niyyah, it's just reminding yourself what that money is for. So, for example, I want to make money from this, but then people hear money and go, oh, bad money. But nobody thinks, oh wait, money, he can actually provide for his family or give more in charity or do something beneficial or build a masjid, like they spoke about in their clarification. And unfortunately, yeah, they had to speak about some good deeds and good intentions that they had. But one of them was like, we don't want to have to rely on other masajid. Like, we'd love to build our own masjid. Do you understand what I mean? And masjids don't just build themselves, although some people believe that masjids build themselves out of charity. Some people believe that charity is what builds masjids and charity is what does good deeds. And sometimes it's just one person's efforts and business that has funded that. Sometimes it's people's hard-earned money that has funded stuff. It's not like a collective thing and things just pop out of people's, a unification of people's charity. And ultimately, I think there is something to be said for the, fi sabilillah culture in the Muslims, in Muslims in general. The akhi discounts, the fi sabilillah culture, the, inshallah I'll pay you akhi culture, like that's permeated us, at every single level. So just people do have this aversion to talking about money or mixing money with any religious individual.
Like Muslims, we should be generous, but generosity goes both ways, right? So when I'm hiring a graphic designer like yourself, I should be generous as I can in paying you. Yeah. And you should be generous in perhaps doing some free work for people when you choose to. Yeah. So it goes both ways. But it's not, when I go to you for your services, that's where I be generous to you. Yeah. I don't go to you asking you to be generous to me. You be generous. You be generous when you choose to be generous. You know what I mean? So there is an element of generosity and doing stuff maybe for free and volunteering and all of this. This is great. This is good stuff. But it shouldn't be where I'm forcing the other person to, telling them to be generous. No, let them choose to be generous when they want to be generous.
I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen like non-Muslim YouTubers, gamers, streamers, that kind of thing, right?
Super chats. They got donation buttons. They've got all sorts of stuff. And it's just nobody bats an eyelid. Their audience is donating to them. They're enjoying the content. They're getting whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're reacting. Nobody have I ever seen has gone, why is he asking for, we're not even asking. It's there. He might not be saying, please donate, please donate. He's just there. And obviously it's a, what's the word? It's just a standalone support the channel if you want to kind of thing. It's not like begging you for donations. Yeah.
Now imagine if Muslims just did that. Like imagine if we did that now. We had a little thing and people were donating, we would just get blacklisted because that's people's perceptions. No, honestly, and you know it because nobody does that in the Muslim scene. Even though, look, how far have Muslim streamers gone? Like, look at Yusha Evans, for example, with MGL, right? Like that is, he's taken that to a level where it's pretty much on par with some of the top streamers that are out there, right? But as far as I know, Wallahu a'lam, I can't remember actually now that I'm saying this and making this point. But last time I checked, he doesn't have like a donations thing like all the other streamers do. And I don't even like the word donation, but let's just call it a support platform, right? But Muslims wouldn't even put their money there, like to the level that the non-Muslims would support each other. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Like I'm sure that if you matched his subscriber base, let's just say he had 500,000 subscribers, and Dragon Slayer X1X had 500,000 subscribers. They both streamed. They both had the support this channel thing. This Dragon Slayer dude's going to be popping off. You know it. He's going to be popping off. But the Muslim brother, he's going to get maybe a couple here and there. And then one of them will be a donation of $5 with a comment saying, Akhi, where's this money going? Do you know what I mean? How dare you make money yourself? This should be fi sabilillah. You should be providing this content fi sabilillah.
Yeah, I can see on Muslim Gamers League website, they're just selling t-shirts and mugs and hoodies and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how they're trying to get it. The thing is, bro, like, where does this come from? It comes from the fact that you shouldn't hide the knowledge of the religion, right? There's an ayah about that. Yeah. Don't hide the knowledge from people. So a form of hiding is charging for it. Yeah. Now, this is the thing, this conversation will be much, much better with someone of knowledge, but it's like, if that ayah is only talking about knowledge of the religion, which is like a fard kifaya or fard ain for us to learn, then that's quite limited. That's quite specific in what you shouldn't, cover or put a paywall in front of, right? And that would mean everything else is fair game, right? Everything else is fair game.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, even these people that are in the crosshairs, it's not like they are hiding anything behind a paywall in that regard. When it comes to Deen. I mean, so we were looking at the Telegram yesterday, R1, and we were talking about Abdurrahman Hassan and Tim Humble's course platform, and it is premium. It's it's paid for. You have to pay for it. But when I was looking at it, I was like, yo, this is slick. Like, this is high quality. The UI works very clean. Yeah. Very clear what I'm getting here. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay for this. But part of paying is also not to just throw it under. Like, I got a free year for some Islamic course website through only. Like, it was like a year deal.
I remember that. Yeah.
I haven't touched it. Because as I was looking at that and I was thinking, I want to buy this, I was like, whoa, don't I have something like this? Well, I do. And I logged into it and I was like, oh my God, I've got this. I haven't even touched it because I haven't put my money where my mouth is. It's like a gym membership. Gym memberships. Yeah, I had a gym at work. It was like £5 a month. Hardly used it. But when I was paying £30 or £40 back when I lived at my mum's, I was like going, bro. Like, I was there.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was paying for it.
They say when people pay, they pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Damn, son. Love it.
That's why I was considering at one point doing like a membership, like a network, to be honest, like a network, for Muslim men. And I was thinking, if I make it £5 a month, then I'm worried people will pay for it and not engage with it.
Yeah.
And they'll kind of just leave it going. And I might actually make more money that way. But because the network will be more valuable the more people interact with it, I need to make it more expensive so people either stop their subscription and leave, or they keep paying that higher amount but they engage and they get benefit and they give benefit to the network. So that's the way I think about stuff, And
100%.
The thing is, bro, like, any course that I've paid for, I've bought and I like gave attention to it, I've got great benefit from it. I don't know if maybe I'm more savvy with how to pick a course to buy, or I don't know what it is, but I've never bought a course and it was rubbish.
Yeah, I think it does go back, doesn't it? I think ultimately it goes back to not wanting to see other people win. I know that sounds so cliche, I really do, but I really do think that that's it. I think there's something in people's heart, going back to what we said, about knowing that this person is making money, and devaluing automatically what's being put out there because they can't appreciate the work and effort it's gone into doing that. Because ultimately, when somebody said, oh, they're paying £2,000 for a graphic designer, you're not paying £2,000 for each poster you make. You're paying $2,000 a month for the years and years of experience it's taken him to get to that point. And also for the ability to use him on demand and use him, without competing deadlines or competing sort of needs. So for example, if you hired me freelance, and I made you a poster or something today, and then tomorrow you're like, oh, I need another one. I'm like, sorry, I've got 3 other clients I'm working for. You're going to have to wait next week. Oh, okay, I'll find someone else. You go and find someone else. He creates something completely different theme, and then people get thrown off. And anyway, it's deep. It's deeper than what you think. And also, let people have 2,000. What's 2,000 when rent is 1,500 on average? Like, what's 2,000? People got to eat and feed their families.
Isn't 2,000 like minimum wage?
Bro, it's nothing, man.
What is minimum wage? Is it £9 an hour?
I don't know. Minimum wage UK, baby. Let's go. Oh, it's less than that. So over 25. Oh no, that's 2019. 2019, £8.21. Yikes. Now it is £9.50.
Okay, so £9.50. Yeah, you're working 40 hours a week. Yeah. And then we do that. So you're making £1,500 a month. So that is 18,000 a year.
Oh.
Okay, so minimum wage is like, let's say 17 after tax. That's not much. Yeah, that's not much.
Less than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, 20 is not far off, or 24 well, it was like, actually. 24.
Yeah. Ultimately, bro, it's that. It's like seeing others. Instead of feeling empowered, I mean, this does go. And when they said, oh, I think a lot of people have sickness in their hearts, I think it's true. I really do.
Yeah.
Because it does reflect on us as an ummah, even if we're just a small portion of the ummah, the online Twitter sphere.
Yeah, the people spewing this stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like 5% of people. Like, it's just that the majority of people are just silent, you know?
Well, look, those that are doing well for themselves, all right, let's say those that are in business, those that are earning a decent amount, entrepreneurial sort of side, they'll look at this, they won't really bat an eyelid, generally speaking. And actually, a lot of the people that came out to kind of clarify things on their behalf was people like yourself. I know Ebel Musa came out with some stuff, who's another sort of entrepreneur. A lot of people that were familiar with the entrepreneurial kind of spirit and business in general didn't really bat an eyelid. But then you try and think about who are these people that are getting
the ones living on student loans, bro, in like their mom's basement.
But also the ones possibly, yeah, but you know, with no disrespect, there is also going to be an element of immaturity and younger people as well that don't really have a clue.
Sure,
because
yeah.
you haven't entered the arena of trying to feed your family. You haven't entered the arena of trying to provide for your kids in any way that you possibly
makes sense.
can.
That's a good point.
You haven't entered the arena of knowing the consequences long term of not having access to wealth and being able to distribute that and seeing people around you struggle and yourself struggle, to then motivate you to do something about it. Like, you've either too comfortable already because everything's done for you, or you're not comfortable, you're quote unquote poor but frustrated and angry at anyone who's trying to do something because you didn't have. And also there's the attitude,
easy for them.
Exactly, but there's the attitude as well. Oh, they beat me to it. Like, I used to have that when I was younger, bro. I used to have this frustrating inhibitor, this barrier in my psyche of, if somebody's done something, that's it, it's been done, I can't do it anymore. As if, like, as soon as a market gets saturated by one extra person, it's over. You know?
No way. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was like that with podcasts. You know, there was one great Muslim podcast, so suddenly anyone else who's Muslim and does a podcast, game over. What? You do a podcast? That's already been done.
Yeah.
But when I go on the podcast app, there's a billion podcasts from different non-Muslims on a whole range of different sort of specialisms and topics and stuff. But suddenly, I'm the enemy now for making another Muslim podcast. Do you know what I mean? And that goes back to the psyche of Muslims, or these Muslims at least, or us, the hater mentality, because there's only ever room for one. There's only ever room for one, and there's only ever room for one course, for example, or one thing about this, you know. So now with there are a lot of Muslims making courses now. Really, I think it's popped up a lot because the access to do that, the technology has become so accessible.
Yeah,
there's now courses on making courses. There's platforms that you can make an entire course on, all online, without you having to do it from scratch. So I think, you're going to see more courses, which is good, because the more there is, the more you compete. There should be another self-development course like the Badr Club by someone else. So then, heck, we could do it, bro.
No, you know, I'll tell you something. When I saw this Badr Club thing, I didn't know what it was, but I got the gist, but I didn't know he was going to do a course. Then when I saw, it's a course and this is how it works and all that, I thought, oh, damn. No, I didn't actually think that, but I thought, that's my space, innit? That's my space. But I have no doubt, bro, he can make 100K and I can make 100K, and probably
100%.
About like 3, 4, 5, 6 others can make 100K, all in this same space.
100%.
All in this same space. And I'll tell you something else. You know, Imran, and I think Imran knows this. Yeah, and years ago, I had a big problem with him in terms of some of the opinions he was holding, right? In terms of, you know, how he talks about certain people, scholars, this and that, yeah? And I had a big problem with him. I still have that problem with him. But I'm the one out here defending him because I just want to, I feel like this should be normal. Like, I've got a problem with you about one topic, but it doesn't mean that your honor is cheap now, you know? Or your wealth is cheap, or whatever is cheap. It's like, you're still my Muslim brother, and you still have those rights that I won't lie about you. I won't make up stuff about you. I will defend your honor, and then I'll just disagree with you on one area. Like, so what?
Yeah.
The thing that I see too much, and I wouldn't even say this is Muslims, it's just, I don't know, stuff we see online, is that it has to be black and white. I'm fully like a fanboy of this. I will die for this person. Even if they lie and cheat and steal, I'll support them. Or I hate them. And they should stop and they should just disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah. I used to play this mental sort of exercise in my head when these things happened. And the mental exercise is a bit extreme. But it would be, if I had this person on the cliff, like he's literally dangling off a cliff. No, I know. Would I extend my hand?
I call that the Lion King effect.
Yeah. Would I extend my hand and help him up? Like as a Muslim brother, like I had a choice between somebody, and that sounds crazy, but somebody who was and wasn't, like who was on the manhaj and wasn't, or who was on, a Muslim wasn't. I had to really pick one. Would I extend my hand and pick it? Of course I would. I'll pick up a Muslim brother. But the way we talk about these people is if they're not, we criticize them as if they're not Muslim anymore. Like we get to that extent where everything they do is wrong. Like everything they do is either mubah, yani we don't have an opinion on it. We can't say it's good. We just don't say anything about it. Or it's bad. That's all it is. So it's either nothing or bad. So there's never, the people that will criticize him, for example, will never say, oh yeah, but you know what? He's done so much work for these, kids living on the road life, trying to bring them back to the masjid, that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh no, he's bringing Gucci bags to the masjid. What's that about? But his audience isn't you. And the same would go for anything else. The same would go for anyone else in that kind of arena. A lot of the criticisms for not just him, but other Muslims tends to be more about method as opposed to...
And this was one of the main points I made in the video, right? Is that what is morally, ethically, Islamically, right? All these things are the same word, same meaning, right?
Yeah.
3 words for the same thing. What is right and wrong and what you prefer and don't prefer are different 100%. Things. They're different things. And this is what you have to, when you're like getting mad about someone doing something, you have to ask, am I saying this is haram, this is unethical? Or am I saying I don't like this and I wouldn't do it that way if I was doing it? Right? So, for example, with the, what's it called? Louis Vuitton shoes or whatever, trainers, Gucci trainers to bring people to the masjid. Would I do that? I would lean towards probably not doing that. But again, what he's doing overall is good, but the method, I just wouldn't do that method. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it goes back a little bit actually to what we were talking about a few episodes ago when I said about Musa. So I had that conversation with Musa about like the way I work and the way I think and my worldview and how his was vastly different. And I did realize at that point, despite the fact that we believe the same thing, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we believe in the Quran and Sunnah, like we have those fundamental beliefs are the same. The rest of my worldview is so vastly different to somebody that's grown up in the environment that he has, like those inner city London areas, right? I'm so vastly detached from that. And I'm happy to admit that. I'm fine to admit that. Like, I'm not going to say that makes me any less of a whatever. That I realize, yes, there is definitely something to be said about the style that would appeal to me, that wouldn't appeal to me, but that would appeal to someone else. That wouldn't pull me in, but would pull someone else in. And that's the same thing with this, calling something mad ting in the masjid, for example, to me, I'll be like, ugh. But there's people in the masjid.
Yes, exactly.
Because it resonated with them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I've sat at a table with certain brothers that were completely different clique from me, and I just ended up there by mistake. And I was like, I feel really awkward here. Like, this isn't my vibe. But they're all Muslim brothers. They're all Muslim brothers on the Sunnah bi'idhnillah. And it's not to do... like. Although Islam is very, it's rigid in the sense that this is the legislation, this is halal haram, there is still people's ability to live a particular type of sort of lifestyle within that, where they've come from, their background, their culture, their expectations, their understandings. And what's important is that we recognize that, and we recognize each other, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. The important thing is that we recognize each other, we recognize our differences, with respect. Like, I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't do that for my audience who are a particular type of way like me. But you might do that for your audience.
Yes.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And it goes back to like, okay, look at these viral videos in Turkey of like children playing in the masjid. And in Turkey, it's seen as a beautiful, wonderful thing. But then in other places in the world, it's like, why are these children running around the masjid? This is completely disrespectful, right? It's only disrespectful if it's disturbing the people that work. But if everybody's used to that and that's the culture and that's what's known, then I'm sure it'll be fine, because even the imam was playing with them. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So people have a one-track mind of what they think is acceptable without actually the legislation to back that up in a lot of cases.
Yeah, exactly. You know? There are like 3 ways you could categorize something being wrong. Yeah. One is Allah and His Prophet ﷺ said it's wrong. The other is just to you, preferentially, it's wrong. And the third way is like you can prove objectively with some sort of data that it's wrong, like it doesn't work or it creates harm or whatever. Yeah. There are only these 3. So if you don't have Allah and His Messenger on your side, you don't have proof and data on your side, then just say it's my opinion and I really don't think this. And even like I did in my video, right? Like this is I guess an example. People were saying certain negative things about the Badr Club, and I disagreed with them, and I explained why I think they're wrong, isn't it? And then after 100%. That, some people still disagreed, but I mean, it's up to them.
100%. And you know, some of the disagreements are, I mean, I don't know if we can look at them.
Comical.
Look at some.
I wanted to ask you one question, bro.
Go for it.
What about this whole thing of you're using the deen to sell?
But you're not.
Explain yourself.
So the accusation is they're using the deen to sell. Is that the accusation?
Yes. You're using, you know, inshallah and mashallah and salamu alaikum and let's, you know, second wife and 313 Badr, you know, the warriors at Badr, Shuhada at Badr.
But look, Islam and culture is so intertwined, especially for the diaspora Muslims in the West, right? Those are identifiers, those are symbols, those are what we are. This is part of our culture, because at the end of the day, we are in an absolute void of culture that is attached to Islam so deeply in the West. Because the only way we can we either have 2 options. We either pull a culture from our parents, so like I have aspects of North African culture that I carry with me in the UK, or we create our own culture, a Muslim culture in the UK. So a visual representation of that is like, I don't know, a thobe and Air Maxes, right? Like that's become such a thing that's what, you know what I mean? Like that's a visual representation, but obviously it's way deeper than that. And there's way more than that. So using like Akhi, for example, like saying Aki, right? That I've never said that in Tunisia or any Muslim country, but here it's prevalent. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, have you ever been, like, we don't say Akhi that much in the Muslim world.
You only say it to like very religious looking people, innit?
Maybe, yeah. Well, sahbi, aji sahbi. Do you know what I mean? We might say my friend, or khoya, my brother, or something like that. But to say akhi specifically,
yes,
that's predominantly like a diaspora thing.
Yes,
right. And there's other examples of that. Or this fascination of like, I don't know, oud, or like, yeah, there is, I suppose, oud in a lot of Arab countries, but to this extent, right? Anyway, we've got our own cultures that are very diaspora heavy, right? So intertwined with that are these themes, these symbols, like 313. I've seen that for other things. I've seen 313 gyms. I've seen the Badr gym. I've seen all these things. I've seen a Mount Uhud streetwear label. Do you understand? I've seen, do you remember? Like, I've seen these things.
Does that still exist?
I don't know. I think it was Musa, wasn't it? Musa Salem is his. I don't know if it still exists.
Yeah.
But can you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it's because that's what our culture is surrounded by. Yeah. It's not using the deen. That has just become what our culture is, because we are in this melting pot where we're trying to identify as Muslim, but we've got nowhere else to draw that from, because all we're going to do is have this... We're going to have chaos, really, if we all start trying to bring back culture from our, parents' countries and grandfathers' countries and stuff. Yeah. But we can't even do that. We can't, because we are not that. Because when you go to Algeria, when I go to Tunisia, they think I'm English. And when I go to England, they think I'm Tunisian. So you're never going to have that true space. And I only ever found myself with Muslims that were the same as me. So here. Do you understand? In this arena.
Yeah.
So what you're capitalizing or using...
So you think there's no such thing as using the deen to make money or...
No, but what I'm saying is what they're using more is just... that culture. Kind of the culture, which the deen is part of.
Yes, for sure.
But to explicitly say, "Oh, they're using the deen," is a big statement. Is a big statement, because using the deen is like, join my course and all your du'as will be answered. Like, that's using the deen. Like, come here and I will protect you with this ta'weez. That's using the deen. Like, using Islamic terms to promise something that maybe only Allah can promise. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But when you're saying, I've got this course, akhi.
Okay, that's a good definition of selling the deen, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like promising something that only Allah gives. Yeah, which Christians do a lot, innit?
With Muslim terminology. That. Yeah, I will heal you because the Father has given me power.
Interesting,
That's those preachers that get on the mic, get the charity money, right? You see them in the Sunday services, get that charity money, come here, I heal you, I kill your eyes. They will start flipping, vibrating. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's using the deen or a deen. Or, Peer Sab, kiss my feet and throw money on me and all that sort of stuff. That's using the deen.
Shia do that. They got the whole zakah that goes to the whatever they are, the mullahs and stuff. They've got an extra zakah just for them. That's using the deen.
This is what using the deen is. It's very. When you hear it that way, then you're like, oh yeah, well obviously, that is using. the deen. But
do you think that there was a good analogy I used in the Telegram, where it's like, if you have an ad and you're like, hey, does your stomach hurt? Well, then you need Gaviscon, yeah? So is that using medicine to sell your product? No, it's just calling out the target audience with the language they would understand.
There was one criticism that someone brought up in one of my private group chats who said, so there's a video that they did put out where this brother has essentially... he was feeling suicidal. So this is still public. It's a public video. It was on their channel. This brother was feeling suicidal, etc. But he had signed up to this Badr Club course or whatever. Feeling suicidal, etc., etc. And then he did like one session, or the introductory session of Badr Club. He felt it was super beneficial, and he started praying Fajr in the masjid. And he replied back to Imran saying, "Oh, I've never felt better in my life," and then, which is great. And then the issue that this brother I was speaking to had was that they used that as a marketing thing for the course, right? Yeah. Now, in my head, I was like, but then he was like, that's really, like, how can you, that's so low. Why using somebody's sort of, struggle as a marketing thing? What would you say to that?
I'm trying to find something wrong with it, but I can't. Because to me, that just sounds like a testimonial. Like, I had a problem. It doesn't really matter what problem. I had a problem, and now I bought your thing, and I'm saying that because of your thing, I don't have that problem anymore.
And I think the key...
That's what a testimonial is.
The key, though, is I think what's distasteful to this brother is that it's not the suicidal or the ex-suicidal brother that was advertising it. It was them. So, for example, let's say I took your course or coaching session with you, I mean. Yeah. I took a coaching session with you. I'm feeling really down, like I'm feeling super suicidal. And then I text you after our first coaching call. I mean, that was amazing. Like, I actually I don't think I've ever felt happy in my life. Yeah. You take that, you screenshot that, obviously you hide my name and stuff, and you say, listen, I just coached somebody, right? He was feeling suicidal. But now look what he just texted me. Buy my course. Yeah. Buy my coaching thing. Like,
so you're saying that you're giving a direct correlation that you helped them get out of...
Yeah.
Well, didn't he say that himself, though, that it helped him?
He did.
Okay, well, that's fine then. The only thing is, maybe you should, because it's a sensitive thing, you should maybe ask him for permission to use his story.
Yeah, let's assume he has. But even if he's taken away...
I can't really see anything wrong with it.
He's taken away his identifiers. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a self-development course. Yeah. And you've got somebody out of something, allegedly, or of the lowest of lows.
Even if, by the way, it could be nothing to do with what Imran delivered. It could be the fact that he's in a Telegram group with other people and there's a certain feeling. Yeah,
of course.
That's still part of the product.
That's what you're paying for.
Yeah,
that is what you're paying for.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, we've got a Telegram group chat ourselves. Obviously, it's free and you can join it. You can check on the descriptions and stuff. Sisters have got their own one stuff. But some of that conversation, like, I know there's people in that group that are benefiting more than I am, because now suddenly they have a community. We've got people from all over the world. We've got nearly 100 people in there from all over the world. And they're benefiting from discussions and stuff. And they've got access to the network. I mean, Sharif's in there, and there's people asking Sharif questions that Sharif could actually probably set up his own network for, really. And probably charge a premium.
He should do that,
He should do that, homesteading, whatever. and he probably already does. He does consulting and stuff like that.
He does,
you mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, like this is it. And I think people undervalue, because we're the same age as Imran and that, or around that age. He's a bit older than me actually, so he might be more your age, or I think you're a bit older than me. But because we're all the same age, we critique each other a lot easier, right?
Yeah, because you're like my competition.
Yeah, but not just that.
Yeah,
we've all been through the similar life stages and experiences,
Yeah.
But when we were younger, bro, 10 years ago, there were people that were our age now. They were like my role models.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There was days back then that were our age now, like in their 30s, role models, bro. So actually, there are going to be people that look at, bro, even in the group chat the other day, one of the brothers said, I've just turned, what did he say?
17.
I've just turned 20. No, he said, I just turned 20 or something like that.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, I started practicing when you were 10. Like that blew my mind. That actually, the same way that I looked up at people that were 30, I'm now that for other people. I need to realize that. And we really, honestly, it's a responsibility. Just being the age that we are, we have to realize that even if, like, I'm not trying to blow up my trumpet and say, oh, I'm a role model. But no, like, naturally, you become a role model for people.
Yeah, just
and
by
you have
age,
to be aware of that. So he is, yes, no doubt. People that are in the Badr Club will see these brothers as role models. Some of the people that were in the videos, like they visited, I think, a member's house because he lived locally, and they visited him, like, just like that. He looked much younger than them.
Yes.
Because they are role models to him.
These are the people who it's for, really, isn't it?
It's a mentorship thing. It's access to this network of mentors that you aspire to be like. You admire their character. You admire what they've done.
The funny thing is, that was one of the criticisms, that you're preying on young and naive people.
It's ridiculous. Because it's coming from people that are actually the same, whatever age or whatever.
If it's not for me, it can't be for anyone.
Well, I said this, didn't I? When they started calling it a scam, I made the analogy. It's like me being angry at people that sell lawnmowers because I don't have a garden. Like, that's it. It shouldn't be angry, but it is. I don't have access. I don't need it, so it must be a scam. Look at him trying to sell me something I don't need. He's not selling it to you. He's selling it to somebody that doesn't need it.
Absolutely. Let me read something that I came across. This person is a da'iyah in London. Okay. He said, the mere existence of 313 men of Badr becoming 313 pounds with a dude leaning against a Lamborghini promising the dreams of Andrew Tate with mashallah and inshallah sprinkled on Salt Bay style all over it shows that the Islam industry is as present and pronounced within Salafi circles as anywhere else. Here we are busting our gut for community projects, women's centers, counseling services with qualified counselors, listening lines and Islamic sciences struggling to survive on a thread of a shoestring budget, and then to see so much wastage in our communities. It hurts to watch and says a lot about how gullible we can be.
And is that a tweet?
This is on Facebook.
Okay, so I wonder what he posted that with. Because he's just blamed people for frivolous spending, and we all spend on things that we don't need. Let alone the things that might actually help us, right? Like this iPhone, bro. When I bought this iPhone, it was an impulse purchase. And at the time, it was the newest iPhone that was out. And I bought it, and I convinced myself that I needed the newest iPhone. And I didn't. I just needed an iPhone. The iPhone 14 has just been revealed. What is it, like £1,000 or something?
800, I think, for the cheapest one.
People will be buying it and tweeting stuff like this.
Ah, this is what you mean. I thought you were talking about Facebook. Yeah, you use this phone to,
Yeah, like you're blaming people for buying things that will legitimately benefit them in some way, form or fashion. Like you can't say that the people that purchase this are not going to get anything or worth of value. You could disagree, it's not for you. You could read some reviews. If people come out and say this was an absolute waste, like I didn't learn anything, fair enough. But before they even knew what it was, oh, it's an Andrew Tate style, this and that. Heck, people benefited from Andrew Tate's course. Let's be real.
Yeah.
People probably benefited dunyawi from Andrew Tate's course.
Yes.
They probably got what he was trying to sell them in some degree.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
There's people that probably improved their life, quote unquote, in some particular way through Andrew Tate's course.
Yeah.
Because what was he trying to do?
Even the rubbish he spews, there is something you could benefit from it.
100%, 100%. So ultimately, this is where I think it's just coming from a place of pure hatred and jealousy just because of who it is and where it's come from.
Yeah, especially this bit where he's saying, this is the bit that killed it for me. Here we are busting our gut for community projects, women's centers, counseling services. You're just bitter. You're just bitter. That's why I commented on this. Because this guy, he moans a lot, but I don't comment, right? But with this, I commented. Yeah. I said, well, becoming better at marketing and sales is key then for you. If you're busting your gut and you can't raise money, it means Imran's good at marketing and he's got people to base, like if it's sold out, then he made 100K, right? And you got all these projects and you're struggling. It means your marketing sales not good enough. And then he might come and say, oh, I shouldn't have to market and sell. That's not right at all. That's not true. That even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, why did Allah give certain rewards for jihad and certain rewards, maybe lesser rewards for other things? It's because certain things need more. You need more convincing, you need more persuasion, you need more, right? Yeah. That's marketing and sales.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Marketing and sales. Why should you give money to this charity and not that charity, to this project and not this guy saying, I know he's got like 5 different organizations, right? And I don't think he could even fund one properly from what he's talking about. You're competing between even your own ones, right? If I got £10 to give, I got to pick between one of them. And based on what I resonate with and the different marketing messages that they give me, I'm going to pick one. So you're marketing and selling anyway, but you're just bad at it.
Well, so they're like charitable endeavors. So people aren't donating to my charity because other people are selling things that people want. Is that the issue?
Something like
and it's
that,
also, it comes from a deep place of sort of then as well, because really and truthfully, let's say, Allahu A'lam, let's say Imran ibn Mansour becomes a millionaire tomorrow. Right? Would I rather want him becoming a millionaire or Andrew Tate, who probably already is, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Who would I want more? Who would I want to become rich? Because I know, number one, he's a Muslim brother. Number two, I'd like to think he practices what he preaches, and I believe he does, because we should have good opinions of our brothers no matter what. Right? Number three, I'm sure that we're going to get a cut of that in terms of charity. Like the Ummah will get a cut of that in terms of charitable endeavors that he's going to try and set up.
Yes.
So suddenly, seeing a Muslim brother succeed is a bad thing, and that means he's going to use all that money and it's going to poison him, and he's going to just spend it on Lambos and all this stuff.
He's saying wastage.
Is it? Because all those brothers that might benefit might end up actually improving their financial situation, coming back and giving you the charity that you're asking for. Because where are they going to make it from? But ultimately, where are they going to make it from? Because the people that are complaining that you're not, the people that he's complaining about, people not being able to give charity, they don't have any money, clearly. Well, they're going to need to learn how to make it through courses.
Yeah, they're not going to get that from the 2K a month job, are they?
100%. Oh God, man, it stresses me out so much because it is, the bare bones of it is essentially just automatic hatred. It's haters. This is where the term haters come from, because it was just hating on somebody doing something for themselves. I've got this knowledge that I can put a price on because it's valuable, because I've been doing this sort of stuff for God knows how many years. Like I said, whether living independently, funding myself without a boss, asking them when to pray and when to go to Jumu'ah, when to do this and when to do that, right? And actually this is worth something, and me being able to sell it can then make me benefit people more in another way, because all it is giving. His whole job at the end of the day, what has it been? It's been giving. Whether it's knowledge online or whether it's bringing people closer through da'wah or whatever. And now he's giving this, a dunya package with a price tag. It's still giving. It's still something being provided. But, and I know you obviously felt a bit of this because of a Muslim CEO and some of the comments and stuff that you guys had got, because we mentioned it previously. So some people might say, oh, you're biased because you sell courses too. But
I am biased. Why not?
100%. And I said I'm biased because I know him. But I'm
biased towards the haq, bro. That's it. That's what I'm biased toward.
Ooh,
no, but like I said, look, I should, because I have certain disagreements with Imran's opinions, I should be on that other boat, the hater boat. Because apparently you can only love or absolutely hate someone. But no, I won't. I'm not going to do that. I'm just looking at some of the comments on this guy's post. Someone said MLM scheme with an Islamic veneer.
Everybody said that when
Obviously
it first came
don't
out.
know what MLM means. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh, he's got a pyramid scheme. Oh, he's got, dude, like." But this just shows you, like, running. And the problem is, bro, the biggest problem is, number one, we jump to assumptions. Number two, nobody has got the cojones to come back and rectify themselves. The best they'll do is delete the tweet.
Absolutely.
No one will come out and say, "Oh, I was wrong."
Yeah.
They'll say, "No, he deserved it. Even though I was wrong, I'm not going to apologize because he still deserves any hate." Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't deserve an apology in front of Allah. That's
ridiculous.
The problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve the apology in front of Allah.
Someone has commented with that video he made addressing, clarifying things. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he reply? It's all the same thing. Cause controversy, bad publicity still builds the publicity. Riding that wave till the end. Too many videos. Nothing. Like, he was just proven completely like, well, he wasn't claiming the whole, you're not making money and stuff. But, they've shown some big things in that video, right? In terms of the integrity they have. And still, you can't say anything good after that.
Yeah.
Yani Allah guide us all, because I think like what we're doing on this podcast, we are criticizing people a lot as well, like these loser people, yeah. But may Allah not make us from them ever, because we could slip and fall, and obviously we have our own issues.
Look, complete transparency. I was one of those people. Like, I know I was 100%. I would see a course and I'd feel something, and that's why I'm speaking the way I am, because most of it is because I remember being like that. I remember feeling like that when I was at university, when I was working in retail whilst going to university, really getting scammed. Was it 9,000 a year?
Yeah.
Honestly, for PowerPoint slides. And I used to say that to myself. I'm like, I'm paying 9,000 a year for PowerPoint slides. I don't even go into university anymore. I just revise at home. Like, what is this? Last year it was 3,000. Now it's 9,000. It's the same course. I said, where are the golden chairs I should be sitting on? Because it's the same thing. Where does the money go? Then that's when, I started seeing these things. Because I took a course once and I got a bit burnt. I paid for something and I got a bit burnt. Primarily because I think I found out that it was an impermissible thing anyway. So I was burnt that way. But also, I lost my money in something, and I was burnt. I was angry. So that kind of put me off anything to do with this kind of stuff. Any sort of entrepreneurial thing or anyone telling me they can make me money or whatever, straight away I was like, ew. They're making money. If they were making money, why would they need to make a course? If they were making money, why would you waste your time making a course? Right? That's what people say. If they're having so much success in selling clothing, why they need to make a course teaching me how to make clothing? That's where their money is. It's not about their clothing. It's about, do you get me?
What do you think the answer to that is?
It was like what you just said, really. Make more money. What's wrong with that? If I've got something that's valuable.
Higher profit margin.
Yeah. And then you can grow your actual business with that. You can take less risks with that. Yeah. In fact, selling a course probably makes more financial sense. Those that can't teach.
No, it's high profit margin, and it can be a very simple business rather than stock and retail stores and all of that.
It's money on the table, isn't it? And it can stay for a long time. And I
love it, bro. I love courses and on coaching and stuff because you can really change people's lives. They have problems, whether it's this guy suicide, this guy's not consistent with his salah, whatever it is. You can help people in real things. Rather than I much rather do that than sell someone a dog collar or socks for their dog or these kind of useless things. I felt like that sometimes. Muslim Box Co. I did feel sometimes like we're selling something that it's just another Chinese produced product that's going to go in the bin in a few months. I did feel like that sometimes, even though it was a gift and there's value to gifts and stuff, but I did feel like that sometimes, and I will never feel like that about something where I'm trying to coach someone through changing their life or whatever,
Yeah, and it's about the relationship you build as well with that individual. Yeah, because you do really. Yeah. But that's a question I have for you. Actually, maybe you can shed some light, because I've never done a course where I've had that one-to-one interaction with someone. Yeah, and obviously you do the coaching stuff. Do you feel guilty beyond a certain point when you've developed a longer-term relationship with someone that you're still charging them? Because relationships can turn into, like, I'll give you an example with graphic design, right? sometimes some of the clients I've had are friends of mine. And then it's like, I might charge them the first time, and then the second time and third time, I'm feeling a bit awkward. Like I'm constantly charging. Like, and I have done it where it's like, okay, I'll do you a favor, even though they haven't asked. And I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do you feel uncomfortable when it gets to that point?
Well, if you're talking about coaching, right? Because I do, like, you could call it life coaching, I guess. That stuff, to be honest, you only talk about payment the first time. Then they pay, and then it's just recurring, and then you just get on with the coaching, and they pay. If they like miss a payment, you got to bring it up, of course. But because you're the coach, it's like, I'm coaching you to improve yourself, whatever it is, your habits, your character, whatever it is, and you haven't paid. Like, this is an integrity problem. Now I need to coach you on sticking to your word, you know.
Yeah.
So that can happen, but no, I don't think it's an issue. But also, one thing I've learned over the years, bro, like, I've been in business for maybe 6 years, and it was somewhere in the midpoint of that where I became absolutely sales focused.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big change in your head. And what you're describing to me is like what me 3 years ago would be thinking, you know, in terms of, oh, should I give a discount and this and that? Bro, especially in the early days of business, you need to be ferociously focused on sales, making sales, sell. And that's what I've learned now. And that's like, I just sales, that's like, just focus, you know what I mean? And that, like, because as well, sales solves all problems. So for example, let's say you sell 10K of stock for Pure XI tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
Now that you've got that money, okay, now you can go to a supplier and you can get a better price, and you can hire someone to help you. And it's like, even if you don't have the ability right now to fulfill £10,000 worth of orders, but when that money comes in, now you can find ways to fix it. So sales does everything. Like, anyone who's in the first few years of business and they're not absolutely sales focused, they're going to struggle a lot more, and they're doing a disservice to their customers, even because if you're not selling a lot, then you're not going to be able to have good customer service and good whatever it is, quality, and good this and good that, you know. So and this is something that a lot of people struggle with, but this is something I realized, and it's such a big game changer. Just be sales focused.
Like that.
Go for the money, yeah.
We should cut this bit out and put a price on it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, again, like, I can throw these bits out, you can throw bits out of advice, but it's different when it's packaged, when it comes with maybe a price makes a difference, a positive difference, and other elements of support. It makes it very different to if it's just me throwing something away, you know, throw away piece of advice.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned so much from just free stuff on the internet anyway, way more than I've learned like practical stuff for life that I've learned from school. Yeah. The school's the stuff that we pay for the most, right? Whether it is the books or the uniform or even the tuition fees and all that stuff. Like, you're paying for a piece of paper to get you in a job where you get training anyway to start from scratch regardless. Yeah. Right? So that is probably the biggest scam of the 21st century. But, you know, there is a lot of free stuff online, and actually, I should be paying for a lot of the stuff I've learned. You know, the
stuff in the Badr Club you can get for free if you want it to take about, 5 years longer.
Yeah, or to try and curate it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can find it for free, bro.
Everything build a network,
everything in Muslim CEO's program, not everything. Okay, the information in our program you can get for free, but go and spend 10 years, 5 years trying to find it for free. Go to I'm just imagining like a scrap heap, and you're just digging through it trying to find.
Tough, man. It's tough, subhanallah. But no, I think I was going to go through comments to your video, but I can't be bothered now. I've kind of exhausted.
Was there any juicy ones, interesting ones? Because
I was,
to be honest, bro, I was having a bit of fun with them sometimes. But
well, I know it's your video and it's on your channel, but I was checking it, like I'm refreshing it every few hours as if it was like my video. I was refreshing it as if like this is my video that I put up and I need to check. Like even on their video, like I put something on their video and somebody, I explained about the graphic designer price tag, and somebody commented, replied to me saying, "Oh, they must be paying you." And I was going to say I wish.
Wow, this sort of run is nuts, bro. Nuts.
Because I think Yeah, because I've got graphic design stuff on my thing. They probably thought, yeah, I am the graphic designer they're talking about.
Okay, there's one I picked out here. So this guy said, did Prophet Muhammad do that? Meaning, because this is from my video, right? So, because in the video I said, I actually believe in this principle where you promote and you give people what they want, but then there are some things they really need, but they wouldn't buy that if that's all you talked about. So once they buy, you give them what they need as well as what they want. Yes. One comment I had, I'm not going to find it now, but they said, oh, so you're saying bait and switch.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not bait and switch. Bait and switch is, I'll give you, I promise you A, but I give you B. No, I'm saying, I promise you A, I give you A and B, even though you didn't ask for B. Yeah. So he's saying, did the Prophet Muhammad do that? Meaning he shows people what they want, and then when they come, he gives them what they need. And they put like 5 exclamation marks. Is this from the Sunnah? 5 exclamation marks. I replied to him, I said, there's no harm in delivering what you promised, but then adding bonus to it. Then he said, I didn't ask that. Anyway, I know it's not from the Sunnah, and the prophets haven't asked for no money, nothing. Then I just said, you definitely shouldn't make a living then, because that's asking for money.
But bro, what are these pious standards that we're trying to hold people to? It's like we shouldn't work, bro. We should just
that's what I told him, innit? He's saying that we have to be like the prophets and, not ask for money for anything. Even though the Prophet ﷺ made money trading, right? But anyway, so he's saying, don't. So I'm telling him, well, then you don't ask for money. Don't work. Don't make money, But I'm sure, bro, 90% of these people, bring them on this podcast, for example, and just question them a little bit. No, I'm not talking about grilling hardcore. Just say, what do you mean by that? They won't be able to explain themselves. These comments are coming from an emotional point of view, not a logical point of view. Absolutely. There's another guy said, anything that sells how to make 6 figures is a scam. The only reliable way to make money is to learn a marketable skill that is in high demand, then scale it according to demand. Okay, he said learn a skill. Where do you learn it from? It's like a course on teaching someone how to eat. Are you teaching them how to fish, to make a sandwich, to go grocery shopping? Too many gullible brothers out there, but a fool is soon parted with his money. I just replied saying, you sound very confident, mashallah.
I saw that. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا, you could do like a massive series on that. Because people, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking. Right? That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking directly to us. And people don't have enough of that element in there. So they associate. In fact, some of the view that they have, I was reading I shared it in the group chat, but I was reading Blood and Faith about Andalusia and Muslims in Spain. And there was a section where it was comparing Christians of the time to Muslims at the time and how they viewed things. And one of the things was like, they criticized Muslims for bathing too much. Right? They were like, they bathe too much, it makes them soft.
Haters.
And and because of that, they're not very spiritual. Not spiritual, but in their eyes, they're not abstaining from the world.
Oh, right. They're not.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. It was like, oh, we're the Zahids, so to speak. We're like the ones that have shunned the world. That's why we don't wash as much, and all of this stuff. We don't want to look nice and all this stuff. But that's an element of this. The Muslims some Muslims at least have taken that kind of extreme zuhud, that is what we have to aspire for, to basically disregard any sort of means in the dunya, assuming that all means equal dunya and exclusively dunya, and that's the only output they have.
But they don't even practice it either.
No, but because they don't have. This reminds me of my dad, subhanAllah. When I started practicing, I had that, where I was like, I don't need to work hard for a job. It's just dunya. My dad used to hate that so much. He thought that me practicing is turning me into basically a lazy person.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was still immature in my deen. I didn't really think... I was basically capitalizing on my laziness, because is praying 5 times a day and fasting and stuff difficult? Like for some people it is, but for me, it came quite naturally. But what's hard? Hard is getting up and working hard and, sort of slaughtering the sheep the best way you can, so to speak, and doing everything the best standard. Like that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say to yourself, but it's just dunya, so I'm just going to focus on my ibadah, just these movements, this salat, this fasting, this prayer, this little bit of zakat here and there. I've got £1, I've got £2, I'll give that. No big projects, that's too much because I need a lot of dunya to do those big projects. Just do these little things and wear simple clothes.
That's not, but real ibadah is not easy either, bro. Qiyam al-layl is not easy. Hifz al-Quran is not easy.
100%.
Memorizing hadith, teaching hadith, learning hadith, it's not easy. None of it, it's not easy. The real 100%. Things, the real things. Ibadah-wise, success in the dunya-wise, they're not easy, generally. They're not easy.
But when you're starting out, bro, and all you know is this, you're thinking, I don't need the dunya. I don't need to work hard. I won't focus on my studies or anything anymore. I will just live a simple life. I work 9 to 5. As long as I can pray and stuff, it's good. It's Gucci. Yeah. Right. And that was it. Like my dad felt like I lost all of my kind of, I struggled anyway with ambition. Yeah. I struggled a bit with ambition growing up anyway. I think partly because of lack of role models that were in high places that I could aspire to be.
You needed an Andrew Tate in your life.
You know what? Going back though, bro, like going back, I did try and mention this in Telegram, where like when I was a teenager at school, all this content didn't exist. This self-development stuff didn't exist. And the teachers there were essentially who would guide you to. So when my teacher said, you need to go to uni and take out all the loans that you can and the grants and the maintenance, I was like, okay. And I did because I had no guidance.
They told you to do that?
Yeah, because that was my mentorship. Because they were like, this is the best opportunity you're ever going to get this amount of money. And don't worry, it gets cleared off anyway at the end of such and such.
Okay.
So I'm sitting on everything. This is obviously before I knew about, the details in terms of the shout out regarding it. But this is before that, literally just before I started practicing. So I didn't really know. But that's the mentors you have.
That's mad advice, bro.
The mentors you have are your school teachers, who they themselves, no disrespect to the teachers there, but they themselves are also working 9 to 5 jobs or also, paycheck to paycheck, a lot of them. And a lot of them aren't doing anything extracurricular to advance their career or whatever. I'm not saying all of them, obviously not all of them, but at the time, majority, that was what it was. And any sort of life skills outside of your maths, English, science, you'd only ever get a PSHE. But what was the focus? Safe sex, contraceptives. That was it. That's all kids are going to do. We're literally just flipping cattle going into this thing, right? So, YouTube came about, and YouTube started with sketches and entertainment and, funny videos and stuff.
Thanks.
I only started discovering the self-development stuff when we started this podcast 4 years ago or whatever, or 5 years ago, and then I decided discovering the self-development books. And because even when I started practicing, I was having spiritual self-development, but there wasn't much in terms of dunya.
Yes.
But now you've got brothers such as this Badr Club or Muslim CEO or whatever that is coming from the person you're speaking to is a Muslim that you can identify with. Because when I listen to Ryan Holiday's books on self-development and the obstacle is the way and ego is the enemy, I'm getting bits and pieces. But as soon as he starts talking about Marcus Aurelius and Napoleon and God, I'm like, I'm checked out. George Washington said what? I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Churchill? Yeah,
bro. When he's talking about Winston Churchill, I was like, okay, I'm out of this. But now you've got somebody, Muslim CEO. Let's take Muslim CEO as an example because you're more familiar. These brothers are they fear Allah bi'idhnillah. They're practicing brothers. You can see they've got beards on their faces. Like I can see that. And actually, they're teaching me about the dunya.
Bro, we just grow beards to make money out of it, and it was selling the deen.
Take it off, right? It's peeling off. I can see it. But can you see what I'm trying to say? Like what we have now did not exist back then. So who are we to take it for granted? Because we've come a long way to have this as a practicing Muslim community. We've come such a long way. And that's all I want to say on the matter.
Alhamdulillah, it's a net positive, man.
100%. 10 years ago, bro, did Muslim CEO exist or anything like it? No. But what it was before was that we focused a lot on the deen, which is fine. That's great. But if you were to make Muslim CEO 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you might get thrown with the scammer card or something. Something like that. Because it didn't exist.
I mean, still do today.
Still do, but not to the same extent. Walillahi alhamd.
Yeah. It's like, where are you going to get your role models from? You got your teachers. there needs to be a space, and maybe a lot of people don't have time, or maybe they claim they don't have time for it. I don't know. Like me, like I do business full time, right? I've got something to say about business. I should somehow be interacting with kids or younger people, right? Because otherwise, how are they going to get exposure to that? Okay, they can get it from YouTube and stuff, but can they get it in a face-to-face interaction with a Muslim person, with maybe someone who's not 70 years old, someone's a bit closer to their age? I think that's important, because you've got your teachers, but then you need someone like in your community, you know what I mean? You need someone like, around here, some of the brothers, they arrange a halaqah for the kids. They do football with the kids. I'm trying to arrange a beach trip for the kids. So these kind of things, if we, inshallah, may Allah give us tawfiq to do these kind of things, inshallah, we'll expose the kids to, something, and especially, when they're like that 15, 16 age, plus, it's like, that'll be good, bro. That'll be good. And of course, they might be able to go out there and buy this stuff, but not always. And
there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot like that out in Muslim dense areas, and I've seen that and benefited from that as well. So may Allah make it easy actually and facilitate. SubhanAllah.
I mean, what was it? I just saw this comment. What? There was one thing. Okay, let's maybe end on this. By the way, like 80% maybe of the comments on my video were like positive, which was.
I need to leave a negative one. Knock you down, pig.
Actually, anyway, whatever. Let's talk about this. So, did you see that video that Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah put out, kind of relating to this?
I saw a clip of it that was shared in a Telegram, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
I think I saw the whole video, right? And I was very disappointed, actually. I was very disappointed. I like those guys. I mean, especially Muhammad Hijab. I think, some things I wouldn't do it that way, but mashallah, you can't say anything, he's great, a lot of the stuff, but what they were saying in this video was just threw me off fully. And it's made me feel like, look, this is an emotional thing. They're not thinking straight, like in a year's time, if they think back without the emotion, they probably wouldn't say that, But basically, because of their critique of Andrew Tate, and then they lumped in Imran with it somehow being the similar thing, because of that, they start saying, what did he say? I live in a 1-bedroom flat with my wife and kids, and I'm fine. It's the happiest I've been in my life. And what's his name? Ibn Mas'ud. He had skinny legs, but the Prophet ﷺ said his legs are the weight of Mount Uhud Yawm al-Qiyamah. And all these things to basically say, be a loser in the dunya, right? As if it's one or the other, right? And as if being basic thing. I haven't done research to lay down all the things that would prove them wrong, but just one thing. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-Muslim al-Qawi khayr wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-Muslim al-Da'if." That the strong Muslim, or is it mu'min? The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak one. Yes. Clear. So therefore strong, physically strong, physically strong. And then also there's another hadith saying Allah loves the slave who is, and he mentioned 3 attributes, one of them being ghani, meaning independent of need. You don't have to go and ask people for help, like financially and stuff, So there's many more, of course, we can go into. But what's this knee-jerk reaction of, oh, Imran is talking about 100K, make 100K and stuff. Also, now we're going to tell people that it's good to be broke and it's fine to be broke. The companions of Allah, of the Prophet ﷺ, the companions were of all types. There were the very rich and the very poor, right? There were the Uthman bin Affans, very rich, and there were the Ahl al-Sufa, who just lived in the masjid. Rich and very poor, both beloved to Allah, yes? And then there's the physically strong, maybe Sayyidina Umar and Khalid bin Walid and this and that. And then there was the Ibn Mas'ud, right, with the skinny legs. Again,
Yeah.
both beloved to Allah. There are different strengths and weaknesses and ways that we can please Allah, but it doesn't mean that it's like black or white. It's like, don't be rich, don't be strong. No, try it. Like, being strong and being rich are good, but some people just don't end up with those things, and they're better at other things, which is fine as well.
Yeah.
Like, one doesn't negate the other.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what the statement was made in that video. I hadn't watched it, but that all that reminds me of is our inability to say Allahumma barik with meaning. You know, to see someone doing well or striving to do well, or let's say it was his Lamborghini in that cafe. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they did videos before, like these ride out videos where they were in nice cars and stuff. And I didn't know anything about that, but I was like, oh, they've got all these nice cars. Maybe one of the brothers has like a business or something, or, you know, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Allahumma barik, right? Definitely caught my attention. I clicked on the video.
Yeah.
There you go. And that was the aim. The objective was to, you know, but bro, like, it's that. It's the shaitan within us, that qareen that whispers that goes, oh, if we can't have it, I need to justify my poverty. Well, I'm
the happiest now I've ever been.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm always happy. Yeah, of course. I'm super happy, bro. You know, with this cost of living crisis,
no one is saying that like, no one is saying that if you get more money, you're going to be happy from that. We're not saying that, but we're saying it's better generally to be more independent of need, more able to spend in good ways, and less of a burden on the ummah and the society.
Yeah, and you're able to support people more. Because on the same breath, bro, and let's just say, yeah, we're raising money and whatever, at the same breath, all of those brothers have been involved in raising money for different causes, whether it's for their own causes or whether it's for other stuff.
Absolutely.
So you know, Allah knows best. Obviously, it's an assumption, but maybe at the beginning or the end of that video, there was a fundraiser. Do you know what I mean? So where are we going to pull that money from? So would you want everyone to donate £5, or would you want everyone to donate £5 and a few brothers donate 1,000 because they made it, because they got there? Because not everybody is Bruce Wayne born into wealth. People had to work to get there, you know. The Sahaba, although the Sahaba may have differed in their actual dunya capacity, doesn't mean their effort was any different. I'm sure the poor ones also equally worked super hard and were trying to think business as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because they followed the Quran and Sunnah the way it should be, as in striving.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what that goes back to what you're saying about, oh, I'm not going to focus on the dunya, I'm going to focus on my ibadah. What does focus on my ibadah look like? It looks like Abu Huraira, Ahl al-Sufa didn't have much money, didn't have money. But what did he do? He contributed, I think, was it 5,000 hadith narrated by him?
Yeah.
So, so there's contribution, and there's, you know, there's striving for the sake of Allah in all the different areas, right? Whether it's giving, paying for the whole battle, or whether it's narrating 5,000 hadith, but it's all effort and striving and good stuff either way. When someone does something good, don't pull them back. They're doing something good in their lane, you do something good in your lane. Maybe you're good with the Islamic knowledge, the degrees, the dawah, and he's good at money or what it is.
It's the knee jerk, and it's also like all of these things you can't teach them unless you're a master of them. So how can you say you're a master of all of these different aspects? You're saying you're a perfect man because you've got a second wife, you've got a 6-figure business, you've got, what are the other ones? I don't know, I can't remember the other ones, but those are the ones I remember the most. Like you putting that out is essentially saying you are the master of all these things. It's whether you want to succumb to the imposter syndrome or not. Like, I could do a Photoshop course, but then in my heart I might be like, I don't really know Photoshop that well. Maybe I'll do a basic course, but anything other than that. Do you know what I mean? But listen, it's a collective, isn't it? And you don't even know who's on it. All these people don't even know who's on it. Because my assumption actually was like, oh, 6-figure business. Oh, maybe they've got someone that has got a 6-figure business they're going to bring on. Not them. Maybe someone else. Because I didn't know. And when it came to second wife, I thought, oh, maybe they've got some people that have, because I don't know their state. I don't know if they're married or not. I know some of the brothers in there aren't. So I was like, oh, well, maybe. So in my head, I'm thinking this is like a collective thing. They're going to bring people in their network who've done these things and achieved these things and bring them on.
Yes.
But we didn't even go down that excuse route, did we? We just said, these guys doing this. No. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. By the way, the only one that I would say is not objectively something to aim for is the second wife one. Because again, that's not like having more money, generally good for everyone. Having more physical health, that's generally good for everyone. But having a second wife, that's not generally good for everyone, you know?
No comment on that one, bro.
Really, yeah?
Not for me. I'm just saying. No, I'm saying some people obviously hold an opinion that the default is more than one based on the ayahs in the Quran.
The default,
I don't
yes,
want to open this can
in
of
terms
worms.
of, I don't know. Anyway, as far as I know, marrying a second wife is mubah. It is.
Look,
just
my wife's actually texted me, not because of this conversation. It just happens that she's texted me now. Right, look, you'll get me in dangerous waters, bro. Let's not talk about it.
she didn't even hear it yet, and it's like
she could feel something. She's because I'm unwell today. I've been very poorly, and she's texted me saying you sound perked up.
Shafaq Allah. It's the topic, innit? It's the passion. It's the mind heist.
Bro.
Let's end it there then, inshallah.
Yeah, please. I'm dying.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. If you want to join our 515 club for £515, then go to the link in the description, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.